Mental blocks happen when we don't know which direction to go in order to grow. Now, if we don't know which direction to grow, chances are we're going to stay the same. We stay the same, things are never going to improve or change, and that's probably going to lead to an unsatisfying life. My name's Turab. I make videos about emotional intelligence, leadership, and business daily in order to make sure that I'm staying honest and honestly growing as a human being. What I've realized time and time again is that knowing our extremes is very integral in order to understand where it is that we need to seek change in our lives. Extremes that I mean is, for instance, if you're a hothead, if you have a lot of anger inside of you, and you have experienced being able to chew people out with your words or perhaps your fists, knowing the opposite of that, to actually be calm, to not respond to stimulus, to be completely cold to stimulus in general, makes a big difference in terms of our understanding of what we are capable of as human beings. Now, this is one of infinite examples of extremes and showing the depth of our personality, our character, and what we're actually capable of achieving. Most of the times when I come across people that are stuck in their ways, they have not hit those extremes. They have not taken the risk to go forth and venture into uncharted territory, personally, spiritually, financially, whatever it is. We need to know what our limits are in order to figure out what the perfect medium is. So I say to you, how do we experience? How do we change our reality to make sure that we are trying to actually hit those extremes in an unknown field, an unknown skill set that we're trying to tap into, perhaps an unknown personality characteristic that we're trying to explore in ourselves? Well, choose a side. Choose a side and be very conscious for an extended period of time. I would say at least 3 months, and make sure that you are pursuing that side to the nth degree, as much as you possibly can until something. And now this is something that's very frightening to people. Well, what if I break my relationship? What if I break my career? What if I break who I am and how I represent myself? And I'm here to tell you, there is no need to be afraid, my friend. Each one of us is an ocean. We have so much to explore in our very souls. I mean, we're essentially the epitome of what it means to be a human being. And we most intricately and intimately know ourselves better than anyone else that we're ever going to come across. So it would behoove us, if we're trying to learn what the human experience is and trying to live a more satisfying life, to go and explore that ocean, to not be afraid of its depths, to not be afraid of its heights. And so in the pursuit of this 3 months of dedicated meditation in a certain action, we get to figure out how it feels to be in a certain mentality, the importance of taking on that mentality, and ideally, what it means to fail. Failure should not be feared. Failure should be embraced in life. Because, for instance, those of you that play video games, those of you that have seen kids play games in general, what does failure result in? Most of the time, an option to restart. Most of the time, an option to try harder next time. Why not have that built in, that gaming philosophy, into our own lives? Why not make it a play, a interesting assortment of experiences for ourselves and perhaps those around us? The key is to not be afraid. And the key is also to realize what a wise man once said to me in high school. He said, when I told him I'm afraid of perhaps me losing myself, losing who I am as an individual in the pursuit of going to this next journey in my life, he said, Tarab, you don't have the ability to lose yourself. It's not in your character. And these wise words ring in my head every single time I try to go and take a risk and expand my horizons, my understanding of that ocean inside of me. At the end of the day, if I'm afraid of myself, how can I love that which I am deeply trying to understand? as an extension of that, how can I love other people and the oceans that they have inside of them if I am unwilling to understand my own? So, in the pursuit of so many changes in my life and really trying to understand what it means to be me in this world and what perhaps it means to be human in the universe, I have found that every single time I have pursued something, accelerated incredibly quickly, taken action in a short period of time, and sustained it for months, I have always gotten incredible fruit from it, incredible data in terms of how I communicate with the world, in terms of how I can influence the world around me. For instance, over the last year, I have gone specifically into understanding finance and understanding the management of other human beings. Now, this is a lifelong process, and I understand this. But I also understand that there are two extremes in terms of how we deal with other human beings. One of them is to be very strict, to be very stern, and to be incredibly motivated by goals and achievements. This tends to breed a culture of fear. It tends to breed a culture of high productivity and a culture of high competition. Now, that's very useful at times, especially when we need to pick up the pace and we need to re-corral our resources and make sure that we're heading towards a certain direction. Incredibly powerful. Equal and opposite to that is obviously being a very compassionate, almost a friend, almost a parent to those people that we're representing. To genuinely believe that serving them is actually going to end up creating a more opportunistic system. The downfalls of this is that people might get a little bit lax on the duties that they're expected to do. People might get a little lax in terms of the discipline of showing up. People might get upset about little things that need to change in order to move the system forward. So, in exploring what that means on one end with my friend groups over the years, and on the other end, as a business owner and someone genuinely trying to scale companies while maintaining really incredible talent, I've realized there is a happy medium where Turab is going to be the most honest, authentic version of myself. And I tend to lean more to this side. I tend to lean more towards a community, a family, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, whatever it is that actually nourishes souls. I've always had the philosophy that why not be compassionate in terms of how we deal with ourselves and how we deal with other people. It's netted me a tremendous amount of fruit. I mean, just think about the times in your life that being a good human being has netted amazing karmic opportunities or amazing interactions that are memorable, or perhaps even a drastic change in the perspective that we have in life by virtue of having that openness, of that inclusivity. Now, the importance of understanding these extremes also comes down to why each of them actually has an equal and opposite amount of power, an equal and opposite amount of influence. Once we understand to some degree what these extremes are, my belief is that our ocean, or our perception, our map of our ocean, tends to increase over time. So the extremes to which we can get actually go further and further out. What I'm trying to figure out constantly in my life is to make sure that I am at least going as far as I can in a certain direction before I hit a hard wall that I need to learn from, that I need to fail in order to traverse. The beauty of this is that life continues to stay interesting. Life continues to give me opportunities, and frankly, I get to influence people in a way that's a little bit more well-rounded and a little bit more loving, perhaps even more strategic. So think about some things in your life, is my recommendation. Things that have been blocks in your life. Try to figure out what the extremes of that predicament is. And make sure to choose one for the next couple of months that you want to go and hit a wall, that you want to go and hit a ledge, something that will change how you perceive the world and perhaps your understanding of self. My name's Turabify. I make videos every single day in order to inspire leaders to do the things that they know they have to do in order to stay happy in life. I have a network specifically for college students, high school students that want to learn this leadership stuff, mainly because I am getting into it right outside of graduate school as a dentist, and I figure I can help them the most. As I continue in my life, hopefully I can also help young business owners that are pursuing incredible heights in their life. If you're interested in joining that network, there's probably a link below. You can tap that and send a general inquiry link. And honestly, me and you can talk very, very soon about things that you're thinking about. Always curious, always looking to connect. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.